Okay. So today I am super, super excited that all of you get to meet my beautiful friend Mary. Her and I met years ago and have been on this fabulous journey of life together. And I just love how, like, I think about the first time we met and the journey you were on, the journey I was on, and how much our
Yeah.
lives have like changed since then. It's like, the morphing of, what all the fun things look like. So,
Yeah.
what you have transitioned into and who you are is absolutely extraordinary, which I'm really excited that everybody gets to meet you and learn about all the things. So, let's just I'll deep dive in. So Mary is passionate about mentoring women on their journey of inner awakening and embodiment. So she believes that healed women will heal the world. How true is that? Yes. So after recently transitioning out of a very long career in corporate sales, she is now focused on what matters most: her family, her purpose, and her service. So she founded the MEVA method. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
A mentorship path guiding women home to their bodies and inner wisdom. Lord knows I need that. I am so disconnected, or have been in the past, so disconnected from my body. So this is why I love this. So she
Yeah.
loves hosting women's retreats, breath work, energy healing sessions, and group programs designed to support women rising together. And ladies, it's all about together. And she loves
Yes.
to dance and explore the world. Yeah, she does. Because hey, what's life without fun? This is one of the funnest women I know. So for all of you, make sure you follow her on Instagram. It's MEVA Method. So MEVA Method, or you can do www.meva.love. How cool is that? So we're gonna dive into all these things. Mary, I'm so happy you're here. And again, this is such a critical conversation for women to be having inside. I know for me, let's just talk about, make it all about me, right? Like
Yeah.
connecting
Definitely.
myself like from here to into my body. Right? Like I get this isn't just a Catherine conversation. This is a all people conversation. So the fact that you're having this conversation with us is so critical. So, enough about me. Let's dive in and talk about all the things that you're going to share with us because this is so important.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. And it has really been amazing watching your journey from, I think we met in like 2018. So where
No,
we
it was 2017. It was prior to Christopher
2017.
dying.
Yeah, the date,
Yeah,
it's been a while.
right?
And it has really been incredible to watch you and also your mission to help women to really like secure themselves in their financial future, which gosh knows I need that mentorship from you. So thank you so much for having me. Um, well, I think because of my own journey, this became such a passionate area for me. For some reason, my journey has always been a tough one that kind of kept me in this like fight for survival from being a teen mom to eventually a single mom of four. I didn't always choose the easiest life path, but and I believe all of our life paths are so that we can have something to give and to share with the world from what we've learned, right?
Right.
So I worked from this like struggling single mom up to becoming what would be like social success in sales. And I really do give a lot of credit to my drive to always like, I'm a personal growth seminar junkie. I've been to all the things. We actually met in one of the growth seminars, but it was a little bit different. But most of
Right.
the stuff that I went to it was all about how to do more mental learning and how to be better. And it's like goal oriented. And it really wasn't until I started to deepen like my spirituality, which to me has nothing to do with religion. It's simply a deep journey within ourselves. And
Right.
I really started to put together this connection with like the inner self, this really like subtle self and kind of the world of energy, and also this reconnection with my body. And I started to notice that when I kind of incorporated all of that with what I learned, the head stuff along with the heart stuff, I started to really operate much differently in my career, in my field. And I was really still achieving and realizing that once I started this kind of new way of being, I was doing it much different than most
Mm.
of the people in my field. I noticed I started saying a lot more no's, and I had a lot more boundaries. And I also kind of had this sense of like where and when to act and who to call, who to do sales calls, who to kind of following I started discovering my intuition and
Wow.
still being one of the top sales reps, but then seeing so many women in the field around me just like burning out and living that hard, like
Mm.
driving way. So that's what's led me to want to share this with every woman that I can.
Which is absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah.
So welcome everybody. Now that you know how Mary and I met and all the things. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So most of you know who I am, Catherine Bell. Of course, I'm a five-time international best-selling author. I build multi-million dollar businesses. It's what I do. And resilience expert. Wow. Yeah, I guess I am that.
Yes, you are.
Mentor. It's always funny. I'm like, oh yeah, huh?
Yeah, you are.
So you all know me, but again, the whole point is for you to really understand and get to know Mary, and the things that she's doing. Because again, just like what she was talking about, like Mary, this whole conversation, like of you observing what women do and how they like this. Let's talk about
Yes,
this,
yes,
the stuff that
absolutely.
matters.
Absolutely. Well, most of us, without even realizing it, have been kind of taught to live from the head up, right? So chasing goals, ticking boxes, staying in motion, but truly becoming disconnected from that kind of vibrant, alive wisdom of our own bodies. And so many women, especially in today's world, me included, having gone through this, we've been taught to overdevelop a part of our natural energy, which is the masculine energy. And masculine, feminine, not meaning man, woman, they're actually both these energies that we all have within us. And in today's hustle world, so many women get stuck kind of in that masculine energy, and it starts to really wear us down. I went through a lot of wear down of my body, my emotions, my relationships. But the masculine energy is really beautiful. It's really necessary. It's the energy of structure, action, focus, direction, right? Getting things done. But when we live in that energy alone without balancing it, we tend to really start burning out.
Right.
And we can even look like we're handling things with ease. Like, I mean, I remember when I was crushing it and I did this for most of my life, but I had this kind of numb, felt this kind of numbness inside. And I was honestly in pain emotionally
Mm,
and physically.
wow.
And we end up, what we're really doing is pushing our bodies into these kind of chronic states of survival, which shuts down all of our systems. And
And
it
then so much illness comes from it.
yeah, illness, physical illness. I mean, mental, right? We have these mental breakdowns, nervous. I went through what I thought was a kind of a mini mental breakdown a couple times through my life, and also emotional and relational issues.
Right.
So, and there's so many women that I've met, like I said, that just feel a little bit empty. Like they're
Yeah.
doing all the things, but they're like exhausted. Something feels a little off, almost like I remember thinking to myself, I should be happy. I've accomplished all these things, but I don't even feel like I can access what I desire anymore.
Right.
And so I realized that we're just basically shutting down to push through all these demands of life.
To me, it feels like a duck, right? Like on the surface, everything's
Yeah.
smooth, but underneath, it's like going 1,000 miles an hour,
Yeah. And
right?
we can do that for so long, but eventually that will come to a head, right?
Yeah.
In some point in our life. And that could be some kind of illness that strikes us, or, we end up in a divorce, or we have like a burnout, right? So
Yeah.
and then if you want to go to the next slide, thank you for controlling that, by the way. But then, we talked about the masculine, and that brings us to this feminine energy, which is really what I started to dive into. And actually, you were in a part of that journey through the class that we took together around the same
Right.
time. So, and
Yeah.
it's not about the beautiful, beauty, fashionable clothing, girly girl as society sometimes portrays it to us, which I feel is very sad. But the feminine energy is this energy of being. It's
Right.
receiving, and it's tapping into our intuition and creativity and connection and magnetism, being able to kind of draw things to us. And I think the sad thing that happens to a lot of us is like we see these things like creativity and play as frivolous, you know,
Mm,
when we're kind of stuck in that drive mode.
right.
So um feminine energy really is about the excuse me, wisdom of the body, kind of the language of the heart. It's
Mm,
also the aliveness of the senses. I can't tell you how many times I have just rushed past beautiful things and beautiful moments because I was so on to the next thing to do and up in my head. And
wow.
so we miss out on so much of life. And, you know, sometimes I feel like society kind of portrays the feminine energy as weak. And what I've come to learn is it's just as powerful, if not even more powerful than the masculine energy. It's just a different kind of power.
Well, it's that being irresistible,
Yeah, it's being
right?
irresistible. It's kind of being relaxed in your body. It's, you know,
Yeah.
you're joyful because you're actually experiencing life. And, you know, being in so many meetings with people that are kind of, their bodies are there.
Right.
But they're not really there, you know,
Right.
and that becomes painful. Yeah, it was very painful for me when I'm, you know, when I became very present and centered, and almost every meeting I was in, it was like I was with a shell of a person. So
Wow.
yeah. So that's just kind of things that, and you know, being able to recognize the subtle signs of what people may need around you as well when you're kind of in that space of presence makes all the difference in relationships, you know. And I can tell you just kind of painfully, like through the earlier years of my struggles, trying to really fight for survival to be able to pay the bills with my older boys,
Mm,
like I look back and realize like now I have some work to do about this kind of regret that I have, that, you know, I was so stuck in that mode of doing that. How much did I miss out on, you know, and how much more
right.
close could I would have been with them had I been
Right.
present, you know. And
Yeah.
that feminine energy really requires that we be in our bodies
Mm.
and be present to the subtle things in life.
So
Um,
that we don't miss smelling the beautiful roses.
exactly. It doesn't rush, it doesn't force, it creates and receives from a deeper inner alignment. You
Right.
know, it's basically less doing and more being. And it sounds kind of like, how could that be, right? And I remember as I started leaning more into uh kind of that more feminine energy, it's uncomfortable at first because we're so programmed to go out and get it done and hustle. And
But is I think it's only uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar,
yeah, and
right?
once it,
I think that people are like, I know that like as you and I do all this personal work, it's that it's only comfortable because it's familiar.
yeah, exactly, yep. And then once you start getting a taste of it and you start seeing kind of your world transforming around you without this sense of needing to be on high alert all the time, it you know, then of course, like anything else, it starts to be comfortable in that sense, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where really embodiment so I'll explain embodiment.
Okay.
Embodiment and sensuality. And what I mean by those. So they're at the heart of moving us from hustle into harmony, which is the kind of the title of our webinar, right? So embodiment is the art of living fully connected to your body and not just your mind.
Mm,
I don't know if you've ever been out, you know, because we get into these busy modes and we slide in and out of those. It's when we stay stuck that it becomes problematic. But I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Catherine, but like at the end of a day, realizing, oh my gosh, I'm like so dehydrated, or I have this pain in my back and it's been lingering all day, but we've not even noticed like what our body may be needing because we've
right.
been so
Just
busy out
overriding
there.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
overriding all these
Yep.
signs and over and over and over again. Um, so embodiment is about being home inside yourself, both your physical self and also your emotional self,
Mm.
right? And that's knowing how you're feeling, because you only know what you need if you're able to sense that. And
Well, okay, so I just want to throw a whole other layer into this because this is a really important piece that you're talking about in that like growing up the way I grew up because I was born to a teenage mother, right? She knew what
mhm,
she knew and she didn't know what she didn't know. And one of the things she didn't know is how to teach me how to access and label my feelings, right?
yes,
Like
yeah,
it was everything was survival. Everything was like very scary, on high alert all the time. And so
yeah,
accessing emotions, one, wasn't safe to feel them. Two, feeling them, but labeling them, like that whole piece was missing. So I remember with my twins, Sarah and Jordan, when they were little, I realized I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how to teach them how to label their feelings because I haven't even learned. And
wow,
so I
yeah,
had to bring other women in who were very good at that, that
yeah,
could help my children like understand what they were feeling and put labels to the feelings. But
yeah,
how many women literally grew up like that that don't know how to feel the feeling or
exactly.
how to label what the feeling is without judgment.
Exactly. Yeah. And be able to feel it and let it move through you versus shoving
Yes.
it down. Because what I've learned, and this is what I help women with, is when we do start shoving those emotions down, they it's we're not really shoving them inside of us. Well, we do on an energetic level, which can create disease and illness. But what we're also doing is we're kind of fragmenting out a part of ourselves, like get
Right.
away from me. And then we end up this completely fragmented person,
Well, that was
completely
one of the things
disconnected.
after Christopher died, like, and I was going through all the grief work that I was doing and all the therapy. It's
Yeah.
that, and I was just talking to somebody yesterday about this, that if we understand the emotions, like, and how, again, and I think a lot of people experience this, like, if I just brace myself, then,
Mhm.
and it's the emotion is like waves in the ocean. If you're in
Yes,
the ocean and you brace yourself, like it's going to hit you, but it's like you're not stopping the wave from coming. Where the
exactly.
better option is to lift my feet and to just ride the wave,
Yeah,
right? And that skill alone to this day is one I still struggle with, and I assert a lot of people do. And
yeah.
I like, so what you're saying is literally like teaching women how to lift their feet and ride it.
Yes, exactly. And with that, the emotion can pass through. They're not meant to stay. And what actually keeps them stuck is our resistance to them.
Right.
So by not letting it ride through, and I will admit that when I first started really practicing this, they do feel a little overwhelming. And sometimes I would cry when I felt like it was socially inappropriate. But you know what? That also what became a strength, my vulnerability, right? It wasn't,
Right.
and the more that I really learned to embrace feeling these things and lifting my feet, like you said, the less I would have these inappropriate moments of like emotions coming through.
Right.
So it's like anything else, you really just you have to go through the initiation process, right?
Yeah.
And then you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I remember when I used to cry all the time in these moments where it's like, oh wow, I felt like I looked like an idiot. But honestly, people, I was being much harder on myself than what I thought
Well, it's that
people were
judgment.
judging me. Yeah,
Yeah. Having the
exactly.
feelings without the judgment.
Exactly. So it is all about being aware of the sensations moving through you, all of them, including your emotions, when you're out and you're feeling the tightness in your chest when you're anxious. And instead of just pushing through that, being with that,
Right.
warmth in your heart when you're connected. So it's really about knowing your body when your body says yes, and then also hearing when your body says no and trusting that and learning to then start honoring that.
Right. Yeah.
So then we move into sensuality, which is misunderstood as something sexual, but really what it is your ability to experience life through all your senses. right? It's this tasting, touching, hearing, seeing, feeling, waking up to the beautiful flowers all around you, or the colors in the sky, or the sounds of laughter. These things just enrich your life so much. And so
Right.
that's why the sensuality piece is tied in there too, because it's bringing those all together to be able to start kind of pulling back those fragmented parts of yourself and really learn to just be living in the present moment, which I came to found out was unbelievable in allowing me to reach levels of success that I don't think I would have ever reached before had I not
Mm,
to really learn to operate that way.
right.
So, yeah. And the beautiful thing is it's something that we can start to introduce slowly.
Right.
When I started doing these embodiment practices, it really just started with my breath, and this was when I started really diving into reconnecting to my body because I was struggling from hormone imbalances and all kinds of physical pain. And I just really started to set alarms on my phone to check in with my breathing and just touch my heart. And that would bring me back.
Wow.
I also started learning about, how movement can really get us tuned into our bodies, and not the movement like exercising, because everybody who knows me knows I was really good at doing that. But like the gentle, like that was another thing of me pushing my body to be better, to do better. And but I started discovering just gentle movement of maybe playing a slow song while I make my coffee and moving my body to the music in the morning, just like really gentle things.
Right.
Of course, there's the deeper breathwork practices and the meditation and carving time out just to be with my food, just to actually taste the flavors in the food that I'm eating it with intention versus just shoving it in and moving on. And everything in life starts to change when we're able
Right.
to really bring that level of presence. So, um, I was going to lead us, if we have time, on just a quick little few-minute mini embodiment practice, if that works.
Yeah, let's absolutely do that.
All right, awesome. So, since no one can see us and they're at home or wherever they're at, I'll go ahead and invite everyone to just take a moment, gently closing your eyes or softening your gaze. And just for the next few moments, we're just going to begin to come home to ourselves. No fixing, no forcing, just being. Starting to notice your breath as it begins to deepen down into your belly. Taking those breaths naturally, not forcing, but really bringing in full deep breaths. And then introducing some movement, gently rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. A few shoulder circles. Allowing the body to just begin to sway side to side, feeling your feet rooted to the earth, maybe stretching your arms overhead, just letting your body move gently, whatever feels good. And taking another deep breath and exhaling with a sigh. Starts to activate the vagus nerve, which really brings that sense of safety into the body. Doing some neck rolls or some soft twists. Whatever starts to feel good. Just notice what your body wants to do. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. Just reconnecting to our aliveness. And now we'll take some conscious breaths, holding our right hand on our heart and our left hand on our belly. And just taking a slow breath in, and I'll do the counting. So we're going to breathe in slowly through the nose for a count of 4, 3, 4. Holding that breath as you get to the top, holding that breath for just a moment. And then exhaling out the mouth with a sigh. And then we'll do that breath a couple of more times, breathing in through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Holding that breath at the top. Holding that breath for just a moment or two. And then exhaling with a sigh. Breathing all the air out. And do that breath one more time. 2, 3, 4. Holding that breath one more time, and with each breath, softening a little bit more into yourself. And exhaling with a sigh. And now just bringing your full attention to the sensations you feel in your body, to the rise and the fall of your breath, to the beat of your heart, to the warmth in your hands. Let your breath anchor you here. And noticing any sounds you may hear around you. Just letting those sounds be what they are. Noticing any scents. Noticing what your body feels like in your chair. Just noticing all the different things that your body feels and senses in this very moment. Knowing that you are safe, you are whole, you are enough exactly as you are. And then taking one last breath in and gently opening your eyes whenever you feel ready. And coming back to our space together. I'm just noticing if anything feels different from just a few minutes ago. Just a little more peace. And so the beautiful thing I've learned in my own life is that embodiment is so important because it's not just about us. It's when we have a calm nervous system and we're able to be present, the relationships benefit, the families benefit, the communities benefit. And I truly feel that if everyone could live in the present moment and in their bodies, that we could have like a few steps toward a more peaceful world.
Right.
And science shows that a regulating nervous system actually co-regulates others just by being in their present. So
Wow.
I've had meetings, so many meetings, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is true. But I've seen people's bodies start to relax and had them make comments about, wow, every time I'm with you, I just feel calm. So
Wow.
we do begin to co-regulate each other.
That's
And so how this
incredible.
really ties in on the next slide, I think I forget what the next slide says on there, but
Why this isn't about you.
yeah. So we just went over that, and I think you had a slide after that that kind of really goes into how this impacts your ability to build your wealth.
Yeah. So let's talk about that
Yeah.
because we're all connected, right? It's all
Yes.
connected.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, so what does this do? There's a 78% success rate. So embodied women make better financial decisions. It's exactly that. Like our brain hemispheres are connected. I always say that men are like waffles, women are like spaghetti, right? Men stay hyper focused and laser focused on one thing at a time, which we love and we need. But us as women, we see how all the things touch all the things. And so if we're not in our bodies, connected to our emotions, our heart, in that calm centered place, like it literally, the ripple effect into all the things absolutely matters and it impacts us, right?
Yeah.
um and what is it? So it's a 3x income growth. So
Oh,
regulated nervous
wow.
systems attract more opportunities. How incredible is that? Like,
You know what is so funny? I didn't even realize that it said that on the slide, but when I
yeah,
start telling people about my transformation journey, I'm like, I literally made 3 times the amount of money as
there
what
you
I
go.
made in the past. So that I can verify that one myself.
Yeah. So, and a 65% stress reduction. So, less stress leads to clearer financial thinking. I mean, how true is that, right? Like everything, wealth flows through regulated nervous systems. Passive income starts with presence, not pressure.
Absolutely.
How true is this? I mean, it's so, so powerful. So it's like that piece of, and I think about this, we always hear, before we can help anybody else, we need to put on our own oxygen mask. And I think that's one of the worst examples that we are actually given, because the reality is that that is pure adrenaline and emergency and all of that.
Yeah.
And what I see is that if we're living in that constant state of emergency and adrenaline, we're truly not being taken care of. When in reality, we need to be looking at what are we doing to make sure our bucket is not only filled, but overflowing all the time. And when
Yeah.
we come from that place of our bucket is filling and overflowing all the time, instead of waiting for the oxygen mask to drop, I mean, it's a very different place to lead and love and create and come from. So, this is why I feel like what you're teaching is so incredibly important. And then, of course, there's the social impact. Statistically, less than 3% of investing is done by women. And yet, statistically, women's portfolios outperform men's. But here's what I always talk about. It's that when a man makes $1 million profit, he buys toys, which we love. And when a woman makes $1 million profit, she pours it back into her family and community.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's why we need more women getting really in touch with all of these things, because who you are as a woman absolutely matters. For the men that are watching this, the women that your moms, your wives, your sisters, like all the things, encourage them to really have their buckets be full and present, because the impact that these women make for generations to come and literally changing legacies, changing communities, like a true global change, like in a very positive way. Like this absolutely matters. This is a critical. I hope you're all getting how important this is and why I have Mary come on and talk about all this. So, what are the next steps, Mary?
Well, on my website, which should be fixed today, I had a couple glitches. I do have a free guided, it's a little bit, it's longer breath work meditation that you can download, and that's meva.love. And then also to book a clarity call with me to see if I might be able to help you on this journey of inner awakening. I basically mentor and guide women who are curious about really going in, removing the layers, and really getting in touch with what their heart desires, bringing back all of those fragmented pieces that have kind of been left along the wayside. So that you can schedule that on my website as well.
I love that. And then we have a webinar that we're doing on Thursday. So I want everybody to come back and let's talk about this. It's going to be a Q&A session so we can actually take a deeper dive into this conversation and what this means to you in your life, which is really important. And then I do know you have a retreat coming up, right?
I do. I have a women's retreat coming up on May 8th through 11th. It is Mother's Day weekend, so what a better gift to give to yourself. We will be departing on Sunday so that everybody can get back to do kind of a Mother's Day dinner, but it's going to be a beautiful weekend, intimate weekend in Pine Top, Arizona, where we'll be diving into some of our limiting beliefs and also really creating a vision for what we want our life to look like and incorporating embodiment, breathwork practices, and play, because then community with other women that are really diving into their own personal journey. So I have 2 spaces left for that retreat. If anyone is interested, then feel free to reach out. I can schedule a call to go over all of the details.
I so love this. And what a great gift to give yourself as a mom,
Yeah.
right? Or, if you have a mom, like give this gift to her, the
Yeah.
gift of filling up her bucket. So, Mary, thank you for this. I love
Thank
the
you.
work that you're doing. This is absolutely paramount into just who we are as women and, being connected, and even men, right? Like men,
Absolutely.
and there's even more and more enlightened men starting to like wake up and realize the importance of this, not only like for the women in their lives, but of course for themselves. So again, we love men to be part of this conversation because, well, we're all here. We're all connected.
Yeah.
So Mary will be back on Thursday to talk even deeper about this. So thank you, thank you, thank you for you
Thank you.
for the world and for the impact that you have no idea the impact, then the ripple effects of all the people that you're teaching this to, and how this is like reaching out into their families, communities, you know, the whole thing. So you're extraordinary. I love you.
You,
Thank you for
Catherine.
being
You
here.
too. I love you as well.
And
Thank you
we'll
so
talk
much
to
for
you.
having me. Okay.
Absolutely. We'll see you on Thursday.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, love.